Hello everyone, this is Harsh and you are watching WPF World. In this chapter we are going to learn about the static modifier. First we should know what is static modifier. Static modifier belongs to type, not the instance. So to access the static member we don't need to create the instance. So it will save the memory. As static member belongs to type, so it will not get the memory every time the instance is created. We can declare a field, property, constructor, class, operator and event as static. Let's see the example. I will create one class. I will give name as static demo. How to define the class as static? We have to use the static modifier. Like this we can define a class as static. If we define a class as static, then every member inside the class should be static. If we want to define any member which is not static, it will give the compile time error. Let's see. Int x. See. Can't declare instance member in static class, right? Now I am using the static modifier here. See, there is no error, right? But if we don't use the static in class, we can define a static member inside the non-static class, okay? What is use of static member? As you know, a static member do not require the instance to be created to access this member. So we can directly access this member using the class name. Let's access it in the program class dot x. Okay, I will write console dot write line. It is inaccessible because it is by default private, so we have to define it as public. Okay. Now let's see error. I will assign some value here 10 and let's see the output. See, it is showing 10, right? If we define the static class, then we can't create the object of static class. I am trying to create the object of static demo class, which is static. See, can't create an instance of static class, right? So we can also say if we define a class as static, it guarantees that we can't create the object of that class. We can also define the static constructor. We'll use static modifier here. Okay, but if we define the static constructor, we will not have any access modifier. Otherwise, it will give compile time error. As you know, the static class don't have any non-static member, so we can't create the non-static constructor. Let's see. See, it is giving compile time error. Static classes can't have instance of constructors, right? So we have to remove this. What is use of static constructor? Static constructor is used to initialize a static member of the class. If we want to perform any action only once, then we can perform using a static constructor. Static constructor invoked automatically once the first instance is created or any static member is referenced. Let me show you with example. Here we have a variable called x, and here I am calling that variable, right? Or I am referencing the variable x here from the program class. Now let's run and see. I will add debugger point here as well. You can see I am referencing x of static demo class, right? See, the static constructor called, right? So whenever we reference any member of the class, the static constructor will call, but it will call only once. Now what I will do, will add one more statement here and let's see how many times the static constructor called. This is first time, right? I am referencing x again, so let's see if static constructor call or not. No, right? Now I will show the example by creating the object. As you know, we can't create an object of static class, so I will remove this. Okay. Now here I am going to create an object of static demo. Now let's run and see. As I told, whenever we create an object, that time also the static constructor will call, and it will call only once. Means static constructor will call here while creating the object, but it will not call this time from here. Okay, let's run. See, first time it's called. See, x variable value is printed, right? But static constructor can't call. Again, we are calling x static member from static demo class. Let's run. See, no static constructor called, right? Static constructor called implicitly. We can't call it explicitly. Static member also can't have the parameter. Let's see with example. You can see here the compile time error. A static constructor must be parameterless. So we will remove this. Now I will write a program which will count the number of instances created. I will remove this and add public access specifier. I will say it as count. Initialize value to 0. Now I want to increment whenever the object is created. Okay. As you can see, this is static member, right? So for every object, it will be same. Means that count field will be shared with every object. Let's see the example. Now I have created one object. I will create multiple objects. st1, st2, st3. Okay. Now I will print the count. As you can see, I have created 4 objects. So the count value will be 4. Let's see. See, it is 4, right? Because we have created 4 instances of this class. I hope you understand how to create the static class, how to define the static member, and also you have learned how to count the number of objects created. That's all for this video. If you found this video helpful, let's share with your friends.